Hi and welcome back to the third part of the Tilemap introduction tutorial. I am Simone Tropea of Biim.Games, and in this video we'll see how to use the collision polygons with the tilemaps. Lately I don't have much free time, so I will have to improvise a bit in order to give you the video without waiting any longer. I take the opportunity to quickly greet all the ones that follow me on Patreon, who leave me feedback comment here on YouTube, and who appreciate my videos with a like. I thank you also all the ones that follows me on other platforms and leave me feedback both on my tutorials and about my games. Okay, now let's start straight away. I have here, already open, the project we worked last time. And let's go to see inside the tilemap the option that we have skipped until now. That is set collision polygon, as you can see here. Let's zoom in. If you see, I cannot click on the icon and do anything from here, because I cannot select any tile to work on this window. It doesn't work as with the sprites. We have therefore to close this window. And here, going in the project, after selecting the tilemap, we go to activate the tilemap bar at the bottom. At this point, I go to select the tile I want to set with the polygon, and I click here on Edit Tile Collision Polygon. And it will open a new window where we can edit the polygon directly. Now I can do the editing. As you can see, we have the usual vertex of the polygon as we have seen in the previous videos of the 8-bit shooter tutorial. I can add a new vertex, and I can try to be more or less precise as I want to define the shape. As usual, try to don't use too many points, and it is always suggested to use less than 8 in order to make it easier for the computer to do all the calculations. Now, with the right mouse button, I choose Set to Bounding Box to put everything back to the default box. And let's go to decide what we want to do. So let's say we want to have a character to move in this map. So we go to create a new sprite. We call it player. And then we put it here. We resize it to 32 by 32 pixels. Okay. Then let's make it, I don't know, red, so we can see better. Okay. Okay. Perhaps I make it a little bit smaller, maybe 24 by 24. Okay, let's zoom in. It has lost a little bit of details, but we cover it. It doesn't really matter anyway. So we want that our player moves only on the green area. Now, I did a mistake. I created the player on the layer tilemap that is block. So what I have to do is just unblock this layer, then go back on the player, just layer, and we put it on tiles. Now I should be able to move it. Let's see. Yes, it moves well. Okay, so we want that our player is able to move on all the green area all around, but not in this light brown color that we call desert in the previous video. We should be able to pass here if we do the right size and around here. Now to move the player around, as we did with the previous videos of the 8-bit shooter, we're going to give the behavior 8 direction. So we add here and we select 8 direction. Now we can move the player with the default controls. Let's try zoom. So now we can move the player around normally with the direction. But we want to limit this movement, so we can restrict. Let's have a look. How can we do it? First of all, let's change this default set angle to no. In this way, we can see if we can pass well in the restricted area or no. Okay, let's go back now. And let's go to adjust our tilemap. We want to add the bounding box. So we say that the player can work only on the green, so we need to put as a solid, so therefore create a bounding box on the desert area. Let's create a new point, and after we need to remember to put the solid behavior to the tilemap, otherwise this collision doesn't make anything. Maybe we'll leave a little bit of space so the player can move a little bit better, not just attached. Okay, let's make another one. Okay, let's move this up. Of course, here you need to put the integer number. It will be better to have a precise number, because otherwise you can have this little collision you cannot control well. You don't understand why the player might be stuck somewhere. So I just do it quickly, but take care time to put this number very well, otherwise you will find yourself having more trouble to try to understand why the player doesn't move. Okay, let's make another one, just quickly and roughly. Okay, another thing I want to show you is when I go on top of an edited tile, there is this red line that shows the collision box perimeter, while where I haven't done anything yet, you cannot see it. Okay, we'll skip this tile and we'll see soon why. So as we said, by default the collision box takes all the tile, and we are going to change them quickly. Try to make it fast, otherwise this video takes too long for you. Okay, this way seems quite good. Okay, do another one quickly. I try to do as fast as possible, just because I don't want that the video takes longer, and also I want to give you something, because a long time I don't do new videos, because I'm quite busy working for other people. So it's okay in this way, but I just try to give you something quickly. Okay, so we have done all of these tiles of the perimeter. We're going to skip this one, as we said before, and then we don't care about this one here, because by default it's already all the bounding box and will be all solid, same as this too. Now we're going to work on these last 4 tiles, so it's nearly finished. Just be careful when you do the corners. It's quite easy to get confused sometimes which bounding box you're going to put, if one color or the other color, because sometimes you might be a little bit tired, so you have this moment that you distract. So be careful, that think about where this tile is going, where the player is moving on the tile. Okay, this is the last one. Okay, then we say that the player cannot go where there are the stones and cannot go where there are the flower, because we don't want to ruin the flower, that the player shouldn't step on them. So we just leave these tiles as they are. We don't care anyway about those tiles, because we are not going to use the editor for this tutorial, so they are not going to interfere with the movement. Okay, we are going to try, and let's see. So the player can move everywhere. This because we didn't put any condition, we didn't put any behavior with a solid, and nothing changed. So we need to go on the project, select the tilemap, and add the behavior solid. Now we can try again. And I try to move, and now the player cannot move at all. This because we saw before that there was a green tile that I say we are going to deal with this later. And now let's see what we have to do. So if you click here, you can see that it has by default a bounding box. So if the player is on top of a solid object, the player cannot move, it's just stuck in the wall. So since it is impossible to remove totally a collision box from one tile or one sprite, we can disable but not remove the collision box. We have to do another thing. So we select this tile here, and we are going to remove it from everywhere in the game. Okay, so I need to unlock the tile map here, this layer, otherwise I cannot do anything. I'm going to delete all the tiles that are full green, otherwise we cannot move on this area. Now, of course, if you have done the map before and you think about this ahead, you don't have to do this job of creating the map and then deleting it. But we just recycled the one from the last time, so it just need to be a little bit patient and delete. So I'm not going to delete all of them at the moment. And as you can see, while I'm deleting, you can see this light green appearing. This because it was the default layer color that was on this tilemap layer. So you can see here because there is not the tilemap on top. Here instead you can see because we are actually deleting this tilemap. Okay, let's try so we can see the difference. So here where I delete it, I can move. I can go here on the edge because we create a collision box that was covering only the desert area. And here I cannot go because we still have the full green tile that we need to finish to remove. Okay, we're going to remove quickly all the remaining full green tiles. I'm nearly finished. And then we can proceed with the next point. Okay, done. Now I can show you, or maybe I skip this. But let's just go to edit here. So we have this tile here that is not anymore on the screen, but we actually want to see this on the screen because it doesn't look nice without this tile. So we need to go to take this image. So we need to go from the project, open the tilemap from here, not from the previous window, and going to select the tile that we didn't put inside the game. So we're going to select exactly the missing tile. Okay, then Ctrl C, and we can copy this image. And then now we don't need this anymore, we can close it. Now we're going to add a new object in the game. We created before a new layer, maybe let's call it a background so we don't get confused. Yeah, no, just background. Okay, I drag it down so we put it at the bottom of everything. And now we're going to add on this layer the new object that is tile background. I missed it. Oh, yeah. So this is the tile map, the one we have now. And we add the tile background. The tile background has only one tile that is repeated. Doesn't have the choice like a tile map to choose between different tiles. This is only one, is repeating all the area of the tile map. We go here, we resize the default area by 32 by 32. That is the size of the tile that we remove from we copy from the tile map. We paste it con Ctrl V. And now we're gonna to place this one in the game. Okay, before placing this tile background, we have to adjust one thing. As you can see, it's not visible on the screen. This is because we create the background layer above the others, and the tile map was the bottom one with the transparency to no. So we put this transparency to yes, and now we are able to see the tile map, the tile background, sorry. So we're going to adjust now the tile background, clicking on it, and we adjust the position to 0, 0, so we are precise in this corner. And as you can see, when I go to enlarge it, all the tiles cover it precisely until the end. The tiles are just exactly at the edge, so you can deform as you want. Everything will be always covered. Of course, in this right and at the bottom, the tiles are cut because the origin point is on the top. So you always find the neatly cut tiles on the top and on the left. Okay, well, now we adjusted the sides. I don't remember exactly the width, so I need to go to check in the layout setting. So it's 576. Layout of Windows all the same setting, so it's okay, we don't worry much. And then the width, we don't care, we adjust later. Let's start. Okay, now we want to recreate this user interface background for the icon to choose to put in the game. So we go to the Tilemap and we pick the color that we had before. We go on the background, we put transparency to no, and now we can see the color. Now we can go here and on the custom we add the numbers, but since I don't remember the numbers because I'm doing the video in a rush, I forgot to check the number. So I'll go back to here and let's see if I can memorize the number. 166 for the red, 177 and 110 for the blue. Okay, let's try to be quick before my memory fade out. Background, color, other, custom, red was 166, green 177, 110 should be this. Okay, and then we have back the same color as we had before. Now of course, if you want to have a different color to see better, differentiate the gaming area from the user interface, we are going to change with another color. Just pick one randomly and we are done. Okay, let's try and see what's happening. Okay, now the player can move freely, and there's this nice limitation that we create with the bounding box. Also, you cannot notice any difference between the tile map and the tile background. They mix perfectly well, so the player is not able to tell that you have used two different objects. And of course, the player can go over the user interface here because we didn't put any limitation. So you can create a solid visible or invisible sprite, or you can use the Tilemap itself to delimit the area, or you can use the code. But this is not related to our tutorial, so I'm not going to show this today. Now I want to show you a last thing quickly, but before proceeding I invite you to subscribe to the channel and press the like button if you have found this video useful for you. And if you really want, you can support me on Patreon, so you can help this Italian guy that lives in Australia to buy a pizza, because here are quite expensive. Okay, let's just forget about the jokes and let's go on to see the last thing. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is a nice feature that you can use for every kind of project. So now we have this game that is already made with this tile map, and we have the 8 direction behavior. But you know, as we already saw in the 8-bit shooter tutorial with the bullets, we can have more than one behavior. And you can have some behavior enable and some disable. In this case, we can disable 8 direction just quickly, and we are going to add a new behavior. So let's go on default initial state to disable, and then go on the behavior, and let's add the platform behavior that we have never seen this before in my tutorials. Now with this behavior we can create games like Mario or Sonic. And then let's have a look how this works. As you can see, there is not the green tile that's blocking me, and the player by default fall because it's affected by the gravity. So with the player, the default controller can just move left or right, jump with pressing up, and it can move quite smoothly. The only problem is sometimes you might get stuck if you haven't fixed the tile properly. As you can see, I cannot fall because the collision box I did here, probably I did quickly, I did with wrong setting. So we can just go to have a quick look to the right corner, and then probably was like 17 if I remember properly, the other tile, the horizontal one. Let's go to have a look. Let's see if we can move without any troubles this time. Okay, let's try. And now I can move. I cannot fall properly because as I said before, these tiles are not cut properly with the boundary box, so be careful to put a precise number and then you can move properly. And we saw like using the same technique we can do another kind of game just using the Tilemap and the bounding box with the solid behavior. So it's very easy to make another kind of game having this kind of restriction. You just change the behavior to the player and you have a totally new game, the same technique, nothing to learn new. Okay, I'll leave you experimenting with your ideas. You have this file, a Tilemap, you can easily do something. Let me know if you are interested in some topic so I can create those videos for you. Until now we have done this Tilemap, and from here we can create different kind of games. As you have seen in the previous video, we have a map editor, but we can also create something like a tower defense or a real-time strategic like a StarCraft, where characters and units can move only on certain terrains, and we can perhaps add some turret so we can explore the turret behavior. You can also do like a city simulator, like a SimCity. There are really many things can be done. Leave in the comment what you would like to see, so I can make a tutorial or something that's about your interest. Thank you again for having followed this tutorial. We'll meet again for another video. Bye!